Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our post-game show, not halftime, because now we're in best of fives, as I learned yesterday and realized, oh, snap, it's no longer best of threes, best of five. Remember, guys, one of these teams is getting knocked out of the tournament completely. But we're back in the proving grounds, and it is Immortals Academy taking on FlyQuest Academy. Before we get into game two, after Immortals taking in a very back-and-forth fashion, we got a little game show. And I know Kangas has been doing this most of the time.
Is this how Rafa thinks I talk? Is this like...
It's how I think you talk.
How accurate is this, Joji? Because I can't tell. I have no idea.
I'm not trying to mimic your voice. That part is too hard.
Okay.
Because
Right.
if I try to go down to the Minnesota accent, that's a whole other can of worms.
Don't you know
Right
it's
now,
hard?
it's time for Pixel Perfect, ladies and gentlemen, and to give you a refresher in case you haven't been playing this game so far. Pixel Perfect is a game show where we look back at critical moments of the previous game that we just watched unfold, and we're going to divide it into three categories: 16-bit, 8-bit, and 1-bit. And for our casters here, they're going to need to pick a certain image from the categories and see if they can decipher what image they are looking at and from what point in the game occurred.
I'm super excited to play this one because I haven't done this one yet from a player perspective. I've just hosted it, and I always make fun of everybody else for being so bad at this, but my memory is like a goldfish, so I'm actually, I have no faith in my own ability to actually play this game.
My big question is whether or not his 1-bits are going to be as easy as most of yours throughout the regular season. Because towards the end, you got to the spot where I was like, what is that? It's
I
like
slacked off a bit
3
last week.
pixels. But
All right. Now,
we'll see what Mark's got.
I may have come to a sudden realization. I had always assumed that the oh, thank God! I thought I was supposed to have this graphic on my end, and I was like, oh, why am I not seeing the pixel perfect graphic? I'm like, okay. Oh, trauma has been averted on the desk here. So, but now you get to see 16 bits are worth 1 point because they're the easiest to get. 8 bits are worth 2 points because they're slightly harder, but not the hardest. And then 1 bit, they're extremely difficult, but they are worth 3 points. And you know me, I always ball out. I always go straight for the 1 bit. And because Kangas is switching over to play-by-play caster today, I'm going to give you first crack at one of these images. Kangas, what are you feeling?
Well, as the person that designed the game, well, it was Rafa's initial idea. I want to give you credit, actually, the one that kind of gave the concept of it. But the way I designed it was that you start with the 16-bit. So I'm going to do it the way that I intended it to be done always, and go with the 16-bit, okay?
Coward.
Coward.
I feel like
Give it to me.
sorry.
Yeah, you're just jealous I'm going to get easy points to start off the game.
Well, we'll see.
All
We'll see
right.
about that. If you have the memory you claim you do.
Let us see here.
Oh, yeah. Let's
our
just get
first
Rafa full picture this whole
16-bit.
time. This is
Let
fantastic.
us see our first 16-bit here. So, Kangas, tell me.
Oh, no. Okay, see, again, my memory is so bad, but I think I actually do remember this. This was Chad going for the initial gank before Flash was down, because once Flash was down, I think he approached from the other side. So this is the first gank from Chad, when he goes forward, but there's no charm from Pretty, so they can't follow up and get the full kill. Spyrex will flash away after the stun lands.
Let's see it. Hey, look at that. Good stuff, Kangas.
Hey, let's go.
You got it.
Alright, yeah.
I remember,
proud
I
of
was
you.
going to say the second gank when he gets the kill, but I was like, no, I think that was from the other side of the rift.
He was
when that
also
one
level
happened.
4 at the time, which is the big clue.
Nice.
Good memory, Josh. Well done. Well, so far, Kangas gets
What?
1 point. Josh, now it's your turn.
What is
my
this?
friend.
Oh, Cubby! Joshi, you need to understand, anytime you cast with me, people are just going to think you're Cubby. You know, I've done it too many
I'm
times
way
together.
better looking.
Oh! I mean, that's not wrong, but it's just like, you can't say it. We can say that, Josh. You can't say that.
Okay. I will be a bit more humble, but I'm not going to be like Howard about this either.
Ooh.
Let's see that first 1-bit mark.
Oh my goodness, he is going all in for the 1-bit. Well, I hope you're ready, Josh, because
I don't know.
here we go. This is the first 1-bit.
Oh my... What? What? What is this? I don't like this evil laugh either. Well, Josh, good luck.
All right, Josh, what are you thinking?
I don't even know what that particle effect is.
Is it Viego Shroud? It kind of looks like it.
I'm just going to straight up concede. I literally have no idea what the thing on the right even could be. I feel like the blue thing is a minion auto attack, like that's in the center, but I don't know what else even is that color. I guess it could be something Viego, but like, I don't know. King, this is all on you.
So you're conceding? All right, I'll take
conceding.
a crack
I'm not even
at
gonna
it.
guess.
I'm
I have
seeing
no
a lot
idea.
of purple. Maybe it's around a Baron. Was Chad around a Baron? I have no idea either. It could be an Ari charm on the right. I don't know. Based on the skin, maybe that's what the charm looks like.
I do know.
We're just
whether or
gonna
not the answer is
go. Oh wait, production just gave me a hint. Oh, production, you're cheating, but I love it. We're gonna go with the Rift Herald drop. That's kind of what this looks like. This is the second Herald that's dropped in the mid lane when they crack, I think it was the outer turret, and then Concept pushes in for another.
Stop.
Okay.
That's not it.
Ah.
It's nothing related to
Even
a
with
Rift
production
Herald.
trying to help you.
And
Well,
I
that's my
appreciate production
excuse.
chiming in. Unfortunately, it is not the Rift Herald. I'm going to give you a little hint. You are correct that this is Ari.
Oh.
But it is not the charm that is around her, but something else.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Is it a? I mean, there's so many times
Baron
she
buff?
presses W throughout the entire game. Like, I don't know. Just show us. Show us.
All right. Well, this was Pretty being very sneaky and waiting in the bush for the flank.
Oh, right. This was a good moment. This was.
Okay. Oh, he's not making the mistake you always do. The 1-bits aren't always at the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I always do it chronologically, so that's what I was thinking it would have to be later on. Okay, all right.
All right,
But
okay.
Joshi doesn't get the point. That's the
I get
important
no
part.
points.
Neither of us got it.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting word that we only have time for one more quick one before we get into Champion Select because they are
Okay.
ready to get back
All right,
onto the
King.
rift.
As long as I get
Am
this.
I gonna get blown out?
I'm going to go another 16-bit, because if I get this, he can't steal it. And if he does, we tie. So I'm going to 16-bit.
All right.
It's strategic, Rafa. Don't give me that.
I respect it. I respect it, but
Well, this is the 16-bit, the other one that is available, Kingus.
I will
Tell
still
me.
probably get it wrong. Oh, no. It's top lane because the brush and the position. Oh, wait, no, that's mid lane from the river. This is a memory of a goldfish, everybody. I actually don't know. Oh, no.
Oh.
This is so bad.
Kangas, there's no shot,
this is.
man.
There's no way. There's no way.
I don't remember. I don't even know who's getting stunned. Who is that?
Quick, give it to me! Give it to me!
All right,
Oh, no.
Joshi, go for it.
This is-
end
this is-
man.
This is Pretty jumping out of the bush and actually getting the charm. Viego lands a stun onto Lee Sin, and this is when they just turn it all around. And also, the one other thing, there's a ward that Yuji misses in the bush that Pretty just came out of. It doesn't go into the bush.
Dun dun dun! Yeah, specifically around the Rift Herald where Yuji was
Yep.
trying to take it during the early game, and then Pretty and Chad did the thing where they said, "You can't do that. You're not supposed
Wait,
to be
this
here.
is just
You
a
don't have enough
continuation
reinforcements."
of the other one that we didn't get. This is the 1-bit one. This is just like 10 seconds after.
What?
It's the
no,
trick.
It's not 10 seconds
No,
after.
it is a different one.
The
It is a different
happens
one.
like 15, 20 minutes into the game. Hold your horses.
Yeah, the
Oh.
other one was when he tried to find Tomo. This is when they found Chad.
I
Memory
saw
of a
level 6
goldfish, I'm
above that.
telling you.
Yeah,
Well, at
I'm
least we're
telling you, I'm
tied.
terrible at this. 1-1, I'll take it.
Well, because we are about to throw it into Champion Select, we don't get a chance to see the other images that I had prepped for you. So I'll show them to you after the broadcast and throw them up on Twitter at Path to LCS to see if anyone at home can guess what those moments were from the game one. But for now, I'm going to give it over to Josh specifically to take us away into game two.
I get it. This
Okay.
doesn't normally happen. What
What
am
do
I
you
supposed
say?
to do with my
Go
hands,
for it.
Kangas? Thank you, please.
All right. Great catch, Joshi. Also,
you.
I gotta say, I'm a little upset. Rafa's already a better host than me because he had the idea to let the Twitter followers of Path to LCS actually participate in the game when we don't get to cover them. I usually just show them at the end.
True.
That's a good idea. That's fantastic. Make
There
sure
you
you're following
go.
Path to LCS so you
Get
can
all
actually
those
participate.
engagements come through, and then Twitch chat, you can feel really good about yourselves later on. Maybe you can guess the other
Exactly.
one bit because I I
Twitch,
have no
Twitch chat's
idea.
way better at this than the casters are. I can promise you that. Their collective knowledge, they catch a lot more things. But we're into pick and ban now for game number 2, Joshi. So I want to bring our attention into this one because we have the same sides. Immortals Academy still on blue side and FlyQuest Academy still on the red. And we do see some adaptations in pick and ban. Camille is taken off the table. Philip did have a really good game on it.
But the other thing is, well, not a good laning phase, but he did do well later.
True.
But we're also seeing Immortals ban away their own B1 first pick. You know,
Yeah.
whenever I say that out loud, Kingus, I'm going to get my out-of-pocket moment now. Whenever I say B1, I always want to shorten it to Bone. So, you know, they're Bone Jinx.
You know what?
Now they're going to Bone Zeri!
I can. It's still an 80 carry pick regardless for Wild Turtle. These are his 2 most picked champions, of course. I was waiting when the out-of-pocket moment would come, but the answer, of course, for FlyQuest Academy is that Xayah, presumably going for the lethality build. So Immortals Academy still finding a way to get a primary marksman.
Yeah, and it's something that we haven't necessarily seen a whole lot. This is one of the things that we've seen Tomo start moving towards later in the season as the lethality Xayah has become more popular. He's only played it twice so far between Academy and Proving Grounds, and the Nocturne coming through is something that Yuji has also only put a couple of games on fairly recently, kind of inspired by how Armeo is using it to get fights started.
Exactly. He's actually piloted this twice so far in Proving Grounds, and I love seeing the pick. In theory, it can work. It hasn't had the best success rate so far. Even if you were watching LCS this last weekend, we saw a little bit of it there. But what's the answer from the Immortals Academy jungler? Because that can really change the matchup for the Nocturne. It's going to be Volibear for Chad.
Yeah. Again, we are very different from our first game in terms of like how familiar our players are with these characters. It was, you know, most played, most played, most played, most played. Now it's like, well, we're going to get some different things coming through, but, you know, we got to get a couple in there. Concept is going to be going back to the Urgot that he's had a lot of success with, and I'm a little bit interested, right, because Philip banned away the Urgot when he was getting the blind pick because he didn't want to play that matchup, but this time Concept is banning away the Camille while he plays the Urgot. So a little bit of unfamiliarity with the matchup. I wonder if teams are going to pick up on that. The one other thing we got to talk about, though, is Ahri on the other side of the rift this time.
Exactly, and now they have an opportunity to ban out mid laners. So FlyQuest blind picking their mid with the opportunity to ban. Immortals Academy blind picking their top with an opportunity to ban. I wouldn't be surprised with something maybe like even a Veigar ban coming in from FlyQuest Academy if they really want to shut down some of these counters to the Ahri.
Definitely something you often see. Like, Pretty has a huge champion pool for mid lane. He's just willing to kind of throw things out there. He's got way more one-ofs than most other mid laners so far, but the Viger is going to be left up. And the one thing I will say about this Ahri and the FlyQuest roster is, once again, it feels like they are the ones who have a lot more agency in terms of who they dive, who they can actually target in the game than Immortals do. Immortals are a little bit unwieldy so far with the Volibear and the Urgot. It's hard for them to move from one side of the fight to the other quickly.
And they don't really have like a hard engage for the fight either. Volibear can jump in, but like they don't have a go button in the sense of we're committing to the fight and you can't stop us. FlyQuest Academy, like you said, they have a much more focus on being able to pick off individual members, a lot of single target damage outside of the Xayah, who can actually put out a lot of AoE DPS.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to go for their top lane next. So Orin locked in here to answer that Urgot. They're just going to give Philip the tank.
And then this is another first pick coming through. We saw Concept bringing out the Jax for the first time and having a pretty phenomenal performance through the laning phase and his ability to find gold. But this is also Philip's first Ornn, and the Azir and Renata rapid fire coming through from the side of Immortals. They have a fantastic composition to just kind of hold their ground and kite backwards, right? You know that Yuji and Spyrex have to go in. You know that Philip has to come and try and lock down the Zeri, but they don't have easy ways to actually get through. The one champ that I'm not generally a fan of, but is really good into Zeri, and I really want to see Diamond play it, Nautilus.
Oh, that would actually be interesting. It's the Seraphine.
Wow.
Interesting choices here. There's going to be a lot of long lines of champions in this game, with Ahri, Nocturne going forward, Ornn as well, Volibear standing in front, Urgot standing in front, Azir behind. And then who gets a better ult, the Seraphine or the Renata Glass? That's kind of what a lot of this could come down to.
I mean, the other big thing is something that has been a little bit unexplored, I think, is the Ornn Seraphine combination just gives you this insanely long duration on the Encore whenever you throw it out. I believe it lasts like 2.5 seconds on everybody.
The brittle applied to everyone, yeah.
Exactly. The charm is really good. The Feather Storm and the recall is really strong coming out from Tomo. So there's a ton of tools from FlyQuest where I feel like they have most of the agency in getting fights started, and the game is going to hinge on how good their engages are, or are they going to get snuffed by a Zero Wall and Renata ultimate?
Exactly. And can they actually, yes, they can commit to the fights, but do they have the damage to follow it up? Because if you throw out the Ornn ultimate or the Seraphine ultimate and it hits a member of the backline, then Yuji combos in as the Nocturne. Maybe you can blow up that Azir, but also the Zeri to worry about. You also have the Volibear who's just going to stun you or just stop everybody else from coming in. Urgot's there to grind you up, so you have to blow people up very quickly if you're the side of FlyQuest.
I definitely feel like we're in for a lot more of the same of what we saw in our first game. These two teams setting up and these absolutely insane fights. It's not the calm and collected nature of Team Liquid. This is Immortals and FlyQuest once again just ready to throw hands.
Let's see who's got the bigger fists in this fight. Immortals Gadmir up 1-0 in the series. Remember, this is best of 5. They're in a really comfortable position, though. Only 2 more wins is what's required for this team to continue their Cinderella run. They ended the regular season with an even 50-50. FlyQuest also ending their season pretty low, have to fight their way through the play-ins to get to this state of the tournament. Wins here means so much to each of these teams.
Yeah, and as they kind of go past each other and not going to run into each other, I do want to remind everybody that so far in recent memory, FlyQuest have definitely had Immortals' number. They are at 3-1 in the regular season, and a fun fact for you, Kangas, and anybody in Twitch chat, these Academy orgs, in their history, have never played a best of 5 against each other.
In
fact,
all of Academy history. That's crazy.
Well, you know, Immortals is a newer team, right?
True,
you know,
Optic
so it's not
them.
quite as long. But the only time they've even played a bracket match against each other that I could find was in Arena of Legends 2021, where FlyQuest won 2-1. So, like, these teams, this is basically their first ever, like, super official bracket match against each other. And it's a best of 5.
Best of 5, what a way to do it here. Let's see what FlyQuest Academy's approach is. When you're down to the series, sometimes you're the one that's kind of pressured to make these kinds of plays happen. So I like that they have all the engages, but Immortals
Academy... talked about this game 1.
Yeah, Concept and Chad have an invade. Philip hasn't spotted it. They're going to spot it a little late right now. And there's the flip over onto Philip. Ornn should probably just be sacrificed here. He will flash. Concept answers, and that's first blood to Immortals Academy.
We talked about this game 1. Chad looking to go for these invades when he doesn't think the jungler is warding. Yuji is getting called out right now. Chad, at the very beginning of the day, when I was talking to him, said, I think Yuji autopilots the early game, and I'm ready to punish him and show that I am the better jungler.
And Chad showing up here now. Doesn't get the first kill, but does still stay in the jungle. He's going to take away the entire top quadrant. Maybe Yuji will have the read and look to steal something on the bottom half. But for right now, this is a big lead for Immortals Academy. Not just the jungler, but also Concept, who got that kill.
True, and now Yuji has to make an educated guess. Does he think Chad is still here? Oh, doesn't spot him. They don't spot him on the Krugs. Yuji doesn't know where this bear is, and with the ward that Pretty has put up, Yuji can expect that if he tries to go take the red, he's going to get spotted out. So he has to make an educated guess, where is Chad kind of invade?
And also, Yuji's bot lane is shoved in. Wild Turtle and Joey are hard winning the shove there, so it's still dangerous if Yuji wants to go and try and do a counter invade. Is this an early dive? Chad's level 3. He's still sticking around. This is a big wave.
Yeah. I mean, this is potentially giving Yuji an opportunity to get back in. Yuji is spotted, but Chad, he knows where Yuji is. He feels way more comfortable going for this.
How does Philip want to play this as a teleport coming in from Spyrax? Philip low on health. Concept, he's hitting the minions. Will get the kill, but the charm from Spyrax trades it back 1 for 1.
That's still good so far, right? You give a lot of recourse over to Pretty, who is now going to be in a spot where he is no longer under incredible pressure. Yuji is only now kind of equalizing on a lot of this farm, but it's going to be giving Concept a second kill. Philip has 3 CS because he died in the level 1 and then just died in the dive.
And interesting to see Concept isn't teleporting bot lane. He's actually just running all the way top. I expected the teleport to come out since Philip had already used his, but Philip will go mid. Yuji spotted out here. Wild Turtle and Joey could be in trouble. Wild Turtle jumps the wall and survives, and Joey also plays that really well. Not getting rooted by Diamond.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to watch how these junglers are moving around, right? Yuji, he was able to get his bottom side and the bottom scuttle crab, but that's it. Chad has his entire jungle still to farm. And so while everything has been playing around Chad in this early game, we now have to kind of take stock on how the lanes are doing. Pretty's getting pushed around by Spyrex pretty heavily on one of the most played champions that Spyrex has had this season. Philip is, again, pushed so far back, and does he even get to like walk into experience range of these minions? No, it's going to be pushing towards concept side of the map. Okay, just kidding. The cannon minion died. But it's still a terrible spot where Philip can't even walk into experience range.
Concept zoning him away from the wave, even sacrificing the cannon in order to do that. Just really trying to keep Philip behind in this top lane. Big CS lead. Also went for the Cole, so Concept kind of opting more for a scaling option here. Interesting to note.
He's very confident in his ability to play this through, and with the way that Chad has been moving around the map, he's very clearly playing towards his top side. What's not Chad and Wild Turtle like we kept setting up, it's looking to be Chad and Concept, and Yuji just feels like he kind of has to hover in order to make sure that Philip doesn't get dove again on this wave.
Concept's one of those players from that last game that had a massive impact, even though we didn't necessarily talk about him as much compared to the other tools that were around. And now on the signature pick here, primed and ready to go. But now we can bring our attention elsewhere on the map as well, because FlyQuest, they still have the engage tools, and they still have these go buttons. Also landing some damage onto Joey, but won't amount to much. Spyrex is just a 1v1 kill. Charm lands pretty. Might have to flash this one. Spyrex doesn't quite have the damage early on, and actually, it's Spyrex that flashes.
That was a bluff coming through from Pretty. Spyrex wasn't counting the minions, and Pretty was like, if I go for this, maybe he thinks I have ultimate. And Spyrex was like, oh crap. Oh, he didn't have ultimate. I was totally fine. But it's still kind of the resilience that we see coming from our more experienced players. Pretty, one of the longest tenured players on both sides of the rift. And now that he has a bit of priority, Chad's feeling a bit more confident to actually walk in and get some vision down.
Walks in, drops the control ward. It was actually pinged by the side of FlyQuest Academy, so they assume that there's something there. Yuji is still so far behind to the jungle clear, though. He's still level 4. We're not even close to that first Nocturne ultimate, and Dragon's already spawned, so that should just be a free objective for Immortals based on how these lanes have been going.
And Yuji, again, just trying to kind of hover around and see where Chad is. He will get spotted if he takes this blast cone over, and so there shouldn't be an opportunity for a play. But you know Yuji's feeling a little bit desperate. Normally I ask Rafa, I was like, hey, as a jungler, if you are this far behind as a Nocturne, what are you feeling? And he just kind of goes, wah.
The insightful analysis of a play-by-play jungler, everybody.
Yeah.
His name's Kaffa, though. Yoshi, did you realize?
Oh, true.
He's name changed. A full
First
brand
France.
overhaul.
If there's anybody in here who's like, yeah, Franz Kafka, that's a reference. Diamond.
Flashes away. Joey nicely set up there. And also throws down the Ignite. So it's an Ignite for Flash trade. But again, so much control over this Dragon. I'm just wondering, when does Immortals go for it? I think that they actually have a big window here that they could just look to take this for free.
I think this is, like, right now. You need to free up the bottom lane to go actually take it. Renata does a ton of damage to objectives. And Yuji, up here on the top side, is going to just not find a whole lot, but as we said, we do see Chad and Joey going for it.
Horn. All the Forge got pulled. Concept already used the mobility, knocked up. Philip and a little more CC into the wall.
Flash.
Concept flashes it, but Yuji will commit under the turret, and that's a kill over to Philip.
All right, I do love the fact that Yuji is looking for these opportunities still. He's not just falling super far behind, but I think it's going to get mashed in the mid lane.
Chad's got ult. He can shut down this turret. Spyrex, Spirit rushes away, stunned over the wall, but he gets over the wall. And he will survive.
Again, both junglers looking to find these flash plays, but Chad not quite able to get it. And even with all this coming through, even with Yuji flashing for that, I still feel like we are in a position where Concept is going to be this player that we're going to have to watch for the rest of the game. Yes, he's died twice, but he's still up 30 CS. Last time, he didn't have a great KDA for most of the game, but he found turrets, he found plates, and he always had this massive gold lead over Philip, and I feel like he's poised to do the exact same thing.
About double the CS right now. Use the teleport finally, as Spyrex actually lands a charm on a Pretty. Takes 2 turret shots, plus the full combo from Ari, almost dies.
Yeah. He's going to be okay at the end of the day, and we do still see a bit of a slower game. Remember in our first game where Tomo and Diamond were really pushing around Wild Turtle? They had a much better time actually going for farming, and we're seeing glimpses of that once again as Tomo and Diamond are a much more powerful lane so far. And this is a bit surprising. We said earlier on that Wild Turtle had the highest CSD at 15 of everybody in Academy, even higher than Stixay. But you know who had the second highest? It was Tomo.
He's been
showing
having
that
really
he's
good
not
laning
getting pushed
phases.
around.
Exactly. And even though he was shoved in earlier on, he was farming well under turret, and now the NCS lead in that bottom lane. While we were talking about that, though, the Rift Herald was taken by Chad. I think it's important to mention that because Volibear already so strong at turret dives, if they find something with his next ultimate, they could then look to take a turret after.
And Yuji, again, at level 7 now, we have to see Immortals play a little bit more respectfully. So it's not just Chad that's looking for these big opportunities to go for these dives. It can be matched, and Chad now needs to be a little bit more judicious because he's not just going to get these free attacks off over and over and over. So we kind of see, I'm expecting a little bit more stalling out in the next couple of minutes where we wait for the dragon to spawn, where we will pay a bit more attention to how these teams set up. And the answer last game was, they just fought. Who needs setups?
I love how the heavy emphasis we put on the jungle matchup is also, you know, evident in this game. Because, like you said, if Chad goes for the dive, well, now Yuji has that paranoia. The first paranoia from a Nocturne is oftentimes kind of the big play that can get the Nocturne off the ground. And Yuji has yet to use it, holding that for the right moment.
I mean, he's doing a decent job farming, right? And with Strybreaker builds, he's not going to be just left out in the dirt. He will have decent relevance later on into the game. And of course, in competitive, the paranoia is so much more useful than it is in our solo queue games. But Chad, first one to the punch, but Yuji is effectively already here.
No wards from FlyQuest Academy. Walk up to maybe fake that they put one in the bottom brush, but Immortals know that it's not there. Wild Turtle trading his health bar to see if FlyQuest Academy get a little over-eager in this push. And Tomo doesn't have his support with him right now. Joey's walking up. The flip back. How long does Chad wait here?
That's a good question. I mean, he doesn't really have camps to do, so he can just kind of wait here for quite a while. Tomo!
Yeah, ult sim. Tomo uses the ultimate, flashes away, heals used, but the chase down continues. Now focus on the Diamond, who gets absolutely popped. The support dies with exhaust up, but now the paranoia top side. FlyQuest Academy see an angle. They know the jungler's not up here, and that's another kill for Philip.
There we go. It feels like the same kind of system as we saw last game, but inverted, right? Chad now going to be playing towards the bottom side over and over and over again, whereas in the first game, he was playing a lot more towards concept. Now he's trying to get Wild Turtle and Joey ahead, and this is the freedom that Chad has because he's so confident in all of his lanes. They find this Rift Herald, they get a lot of money going over to Turtle, Joey, and Chad, and they find themselves a 2,000 gold lead.
You made gold lead, but okay, Diamond looking for the play in the mid lane now. Flash and exhaust used for Flash out of Pretty. We land that root, maybe that's just a kill there. But as we look at the replay here, Chad did exactly what I was expecting after you get the Herald. Look for a lane to find a gank on, get the kill, and then drop that Herald. It doesn't pick up the whole turret, but at least FlyQuest Academy, with that information, that first Nocturne ultimate did find them something.
Yeah. We also see this other side of the play, right? Philip just trying to get right on top of concept, and he's able to get enough down, and the brittle comes through, make sure that this fear lasts for the rest of concept's life, and they end up finding a very clean kill. So despite the early dominance that we saw from Chad and concept, it has been Yuji's been paying enough attention, and it is putting Philip in a spot where he gets to play the game again. And as the dragon spawns, you definitely want your orange to be relevant, but it doesn't look like either top lane is going to be participating.
Yeah, it's just tough. Honestly, I think that Yuji would have been happier if he got the kills from those two games. Like, Phil getting 2 kills, sure, that's nice, but you don't need your Ornn to have all that money. Imagine if Yuji had 2 kills instead. 2,000 gold lead on the side of Immortals Academy, and a lot of that gold is on the carries, specifically Concept even taking more plates up here, just unanswered. He's taking the Krogs, like, what can Philip do?
Not a whole lot. He tried to breathe on them really hard, but he's not the big bad wolf. Not going to be going over, and Immortals find themselves a second dragon. His Concept feels like he's just going around again. Good usage. We're seeing both Philip and Concept at different points where they are able to showcase some of the mechanics of the champions they play.
Especially considering it's Philip's first time on the Ornn, so even more impressive that he's had some of the plays he's had. Spyrex lands the charm onto Pretty. No flash available on the Azir, but the Emperor's Divine. Flash from Yuji, but Chad is here. The Volibear turning the play. Pretty falls. Yuji answered. 1-for-1 trade, and Chad with the stopwatch flashes forward. He sees Wild Turtle and says, we can turn this play. Spyrex flashes rather than spear rushing over the wall. Does not want to risk it.
They're going to be able to get themselves out, but that 1-for-1, right? It feels like this game remains so even between these two teams, and it's kind of crazy to see how active both of our junglers have been. But Tomo and Diamond can find something bottom lane.
Another root lands. Concept is just still whittling away at this top turret. Oh, that was a little spicy. I think Philip can turn this one now. The Orn's packing a decent punch right now. One more
Can he get
auto.
in?
Concept's in trouble. The knock-up Brittle, and Philip gets a solo kill.
3 kills going over to Philip. He's ready to turn things around. He's actually putting a lot of points into E in order to make sure he can actually get on top of the Urgot. I really like what we're seeing from him. He's coming back. He's showing that the early game was not all that he's meant to be. He can really play this in. So far, again, we are seeing both of these teams just coming to fight. Everybody is ready to go, and we are just going to continue seeing fight after fight after fight. But if that keeps happening while Immortals is picking up objectives, FlyQuest are probably going to have to look at another game plan.
So far, they're leading the kill count, but they're still behind in gold, still behind in dragons. And Chad, this is the second Herald. So Immortals Academy have just been controlling these objectives so much better than the side of FlyQuest Academy, despite the fact that FlyQuest, we said going into the game, look at all the engage tools they have. The Ornn ultimate, the Seraphine ultimate, the Ahri and Nocturne pick potential. They haven't found these windows to set up all of these abilities on top of each other to actually control these objectives.
Well, we're going to see that a little bit more later on, right? As the turns start to fall, the extended laning phase, stops. We will get to see more grouping up from both sides. We'll see opportunities for them to find all of these plays that we were initially setting up at the beginning of the game. But as these turrets go down, the gold lead is building up for Immortals. They find the top lane turret, they find the bottom lane turret, and FlyQuest are now looking at a 3,000 gold deficit, and typically,
Ooh, flash out of Joey, but the paranoia is still used, so Joey without the flash available now will probably just fall. Good ultimate. Stasis as well. Chad's here. I spoke too soon. FlyQuest Academy over a commit for the fight. And now Yuji goes in, trades it right back. 1 for 2. Philip has teleported in. He's joined the fight. Emperor's divided by so much space. Look at Wild Turtle coming in right now. The double kill for Chad, but a double kill answer for Spyrax and FlyQuest Academy. Tomo with the positioning. Actually gets on the Wild Turtle. A triple kill to Spyrax. Concept will get one more for himself. But a 4 for 3 trade. The charm lands. I don't think they get the chase down. FlyQuest Academy will have to back away with just the kill advantage.
And another chaotic fight between these two teams, King, this is what we're always here for. It's all about the individual plays between these two rosters, and Spyrax, I gotta say, played that like a madman, picking up the triple kill, constantly positioning. Both Spyrax and Tomo once again showing their ability to play in these pockets. And as we see this start to break down, I want to pay a lot of attention to how Spyrax interacts with Pretty in particular. Right, he starts off by marking him and zoning him off and instantly following him over the wall. And once the roof goes down, he's just chilling, making sure that he can find his way back. And as soon as the wall goes up, he has a second Spirit Rush ready to take down the Azir. Because if the Azir was still alive, you know that everybody on FlyQuest trying to fight in this small corridor was going to get eaten alive.
And then Tomo also was approaching from the dry bush. He had Concept behind him, so he was like, all right, well, I'm just going to flash through the fight then and reposition straight on the Wild Turtle, who had no more peel on him. That was not the angle that Immortals wanted to take the fight. They have a great kite back style, but if you're surrounded like that, a lot of it on Spyrax's positioning becomes that much harder to actually play it out. Still a gold lead for Immortals Academy, though.
True.
It's important to note that they're not behind because of the play.
But this is when we're going to start seeing how these two compositions were really meant to interact from the get-go. As the next dragon is spawning, both teams are setting up. Immortals are here first, and as they drop the Rift Herald, it's going to be difficult for FlyQuest to try and get mid lane priority, and that will allow Immortals to kind of move into the river and force.
They have called the Forge God and as well the Paranoia, but Pretty's now here. Concept looking for it. Actually stops the second cast and lands his own Fear Beyond Death. Diamond does a good encore, but it means nothing. You've already lost your tank. Your front line's down.
Good stuff. I love the fact that Concept wasn't going to over-engage because the rest of his team couldn't see. They couldn't follow it up. He's just going to take Philip and hide him away in a different part. But that gives Immortals their third dragon. If you get the if you get the Mountain Soul, you will effectively be immortal, right? There's no way for Spyrax and Yuji to try and kill somebody through that. And for as much attention as we're giving Concept and Chad, the player that we're going to have to really look at who hasn't stepped up just quite yet is Wild Turtle on the Zeri.
How can the Zeri actually output the damage in the late game to make sure you're positioning for these team fights? But I'm happy we're still talking about Concept, because in the rookie split, Concept is a player that at the beginning of the season, Immortals Academy just said, all right, you're playing tank duty. You're going to play Scion. Mundo singed. That's what Concept played at the beginning of the split. And Immortals Academy said, we're going to win through other lanes. We're not going to win through Concept. Jax and Urgot, 2 games in a row now where Concept is having massive performances. Really, really solid performance from him in a best of 5, life on the line, lower bracket run.
And this is when he got counterpicked too, right? He blinded the Urgot, he got a little bit of tension off the bat, but he's been ganked over and over by Yuji. And he's still up 50 sets. He's still this huge threat and this big ball of meat that FlyQuest are going to have to take a long time to chew because it's not tender.
He's still maybe a little overdone, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit too fed.
A little bit too fed, right?
Not grass-fed. These cows eat meat.
I don't think cows eat meat.
Well, we will ignore
right?
the veracity of the analogy.
You know, I'm the one that set up the analogy. You're right. Yeah, I should be complaining now that I've set you up for failure. But regardless, FlyQuest Academy do have a uphill climb. Of course, they are behind in goal, but outside of that, just compositionally, they have the Ornn for scaling, but their damage isn't necessarily like known for big late game burst or consistent DPS when you have the lethality, Xayah, and the Ahri.
Yeah, and it's not the transition that we were talking about yesterday. There's a opportunity to transition directly into crit. That's not something that FlyQuest have done. And while Philip should be able to pick up this turret here, I think maybe Concept is going to frighten him off. But the question remains, how do you kill Concept? How do you kill Chad? He's got the Sunfire into the Frozen Heart. There's not enough damage coming out from the Xayah, and realistically, you have to kill everybody else first.
It's like a paranoia setup. Should be Spyrex that starts it. Oh, Charm misses. If that had landed on Chad, I imagine they pulled the trigger right there. But now it's Immortals actually grouping up pretty. Don't do this thing where you face check as Azir. Okay, he's actually safe right now. And it's Concept that finds Philip here, trading out some health bars. Chad also tanks up some damage, so the front lines are getting chunked.
What are we fighting for?
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, but we're fighting. Call the Forge God. It is almost interrupted, but not quite. Joey gets hit, and now the paranoia directly onto him. Yuji might have overextended, so has to flash away. Big encore from Diamond, and now Pretty's taken down. 3 kills to FlyQuest Academy. There might not have been much reason for the fight, but they will win the fight and find 3 for 0.
The crazy thing about that is that was a 5v4 the entire time. FlyQuest, they don't need to worry about how they're actually going to be getting through Chad and getting through Concept. If there's no damage that they have to be worrying about, FlyQuest just find the fight. They separate out the members of Immortals, and now they're going to be hitting the Baron buff. This feels so similar to what we were seeing last time, where there's these setups coming through. There's opportunities for them to fight, and it's FlyQuest who are going to be punishing these overextensions.
Teleport from Concept. They don't take this incredibly fast, but it should be fast enough. Do Immortals look to actually stop backs now? They teleport Pretty in too. FlyQuest are running towards the tri-bush, and they make it out. They don't necessarily have the lowest health bars. Yeah, I think they're fine. Unless Pretty goes for an insane play right here.
Yeah, Pretty would have to lose his mind. And I would lose my mind if it worked, right? So, you know, there's a pretty cool analog to be going through there. Yeah, FlyQuest, they just found the fight, and now they find the Baron buff. And the greatest thing, they're going to be in time for the Dragon. But notice what Wild Turtle does here, because he can't walk through. As soon as the paranoia is up, there's no way. He can't walk through Tomo and Diamond. He has to walk all the way around. And he never gets to do any damage whatsoever in this team fight. So even though Chad and Concept take a while to go down, there's no damage behind it because Pretty goes down too early and Concept just books it.
And Spyrex, yet again, has Pretty's number. The last 2 big impactful fights that went FlyQuest away, it's because Spyrex says, that's an Azir without subs. That's an Azir that's all alone, and I can just assassinate them. Does have a little bit of extra damage in this Ahri build, and now with the Baron buff up, FlyQuest Academy, they can look to start getting a gold lead for themselves. Still behind, mind you. They still do not have a lead right now, but this is an opportunity.
Concept. That's bold, but Spyrex is coming in on a flank as well, trying to find the frag ticket.
Oh, but Pretty spots him out, hit by the charm, paranoia's up. Pretty's taking so much damage, call the Forge God. Pretty has to go into the stasis. Yuji now focused out here from the side of FlyQuest. Everybody's going down, it's chaos in the Dragon Pit, but FlyQuest are winning the fight because again, the carries from Immortals are just not doing damage. Wild Turtle could not get into that one. Chad, he's still ulted, he smites for health. He's still alive through all of that. Now goes back in because Spyrex is the only damage left on FlyQuest Academy's side. Will find the kill.
And it's the same setup, the same way that FlyQuest are able to find this win once again. When we get to replay, it's not Wild Turd we gotta watch, it's Joey who's not able to participate in this fight. And FlyQuest, they just have enough, they just have an extra member that they get to play with, and they stop the Mountain Soul. But watch, so Ian was pretty being super aggressive here. When the ultimate goes out, it's now Joey walking all the way around the exact same wall, and with no extra buff coming through, Wildstar will have to get out. There's no way that these tanks do enough damage, and even though it's a grind, and it is one hell of a long grind, FlyQuest are able to win it because they just have more people.
FlyQuest again finds an opportunity to go in. Spyrex with the flank and a pretty every single time. He is finding this Azir, the collegiate superstar. Got to finals of CLOL last year, and now in his Academy debut, in a best of 5, 7-0-3 on the RE. These are the kinds of performances that you wish you had as a rookie going into Academy.
Oh, yeah.
This is what everybody says. All right, this is what I want to do. This is my goal. And so rarely do we see rookies actually have these kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the way that Spyrex has been playing, even though the rest of the team has been like pushed off with Wild Turtle and Joy are not able to participate in the fights. Spyrex knows that the only person that he really needs to worry about for damage right now is the Azir. He marks him, he makes sure there's nothing there, and I don't think there's anything here either, as you know, the spell shield is used by Yuji. But that's the thing, if Spyrex can keep out the one damage source in all of these team fights, they are golden. They can grind out everything for the rest of the game, and if Spyrex can keep up this performance, he's not just going to have the crazy base defenses, he's going to just carry the game on his own.
And Philip's already level 14, getting towards those Ornn upgraded items, gives Spyrex that upgrade. I think deservedly so, based on how these fights have been going. But Pretty had to dip into the Zhonya, so the Azir scaling a little delayed. Zeri not offline, or not online yet. So the concern of the scaling advantage for Immortals Academy, like we're still probably 10 minutes away from that really being felt. And I don't see them necessarily winning these Dragon fights here, as FlyQuest Academy have put a stall on that soul push.
I still think that that Immortals can win these fights. That's the big thing that we're going to have to see, but FlyQuest have been doing a fantastic job at separating them. I think if Immortals are able to play the way their composition is designed, where it's kite back, you use the two meatballs up in front, and Wild Turtle and Pretty have Joey in their back pocket to make sure that they stay alive, this composition is really, really hard to dive. But FlyQuest have been doing a good job. Yeah, they've been doing a fantastic job at splitting the fight, and this death ball kind of composition doesn't work if the balls are in different places.
And again, Wild Turtle now, this isn't the time to get caught out. That's a big jump, and the fear will land, knock up as well. Wild Turtle still alive, Call the Forge God used with the teleport coming in as response.
They got him.
But Tomo lands the ultimate Feather Storm and a second kill to boot. Joey's down, and Immortals once again split in the fight. They don't get the setup they want. The paranoia snap decision for FlyQuest Academy is just too strong. Chad tries to escape, but you can't imagine he's going far.
And we had this big question, right? If Yuji is basically out of the game early on, how is he going to continue playing? What is he going to do? But this Nocturne is constantly there. He's got the trigger pull necessary to show why he's the most valuable prospect.
They don't know that Chad's still here. Oh, he's out. He's gone. Wait, is he? They're stopping their backs. Wait, Chad's in the enemy jungle now. Oh, Philip's here. He's going to fight Chad. Oh, Chad, if you had just backed to the brush, you would have been fine, but he thought they were still hunting him. Oh, that's tragic.
That's very funny. Poor Chad. But it is a spot where he's still got most of his team's kills. In fact, his, the top side have almost all the kills. So Wild Turtle going down here is a bit of a disaster because they don't have members. Concept after teleporting away, Azir doesn't know where to go, and he's actually, if you see on the minimap, he was marked off. There's no way for him to walk through Spyrex, so Pretty can't participate in this either. Spyrex again making sure Azir can't play the game.
And if you look at Chad's decision making too, he throws out the ultimate to try and chase down Yuji, but you need to be a frontline. You need to buy space for your carries to actually output damage. So Immortals Academy still struggling to find the position that they need with this composition to actually, utilize all the damage in these team fights. And FlyQuest Academy now finally have that gold lead we've been talking about this whole time, Joshi. And they have the momentum, and they have Dragon spawning in 30 seconds.
And they have Ornn, right? They have effective scaling just coming into their composition. As long as they're able to do this, they're going to be in a much better spot. So as FlyQuest are now getting set up, they're the ones who need to be careful because Philip doesn't have a way out.
He couldn't get caught right now. Takes a while to kill. Paranoia is here. Everybody's coming in. The Paranoia used early. Do Immortals actually commit to it? Chad's going forward, but they don't have the damage onto Philip, so Orange should be fine right now. Hold back. There's the Fear Beyond Death. No frontline for FlyQuest Academy.
Okay, that's a couple ultimates used by Immortals. Do FlyQuest feel like they can actually play this? They still have the Seraphine ult. They still have Tomo, who is very, very strong.
But everybody's here from Immortals Academy for once. Ultimate misses from Diamond. The Encore doesn't actually land onto any members of Immortals Academy, but they have the poke. Tomo's actually doing so much. Spyrex is doing so much. And Immortals Academy, they're up a member, but they might not be able to take this fight.
It's so hard for them to get in, but Joey has
flank. Oh, but they spot him! Spyrex right over the wall onto Joey. The ultimate comes out, but still goes down. Immortals move forward into the grinder, and FlyQuest will take advantage. Wild Turtle's got to walk up. Pretty with the shovel. Pretty with the save! Wild Turtle as well gets the kill. Pretty, baby, that was gorgeous!
I thought we were just going to be talking about Spyrex for yet another replay king, but it's Pretty this time who finally comes alive. When Ari's not hitting him, he gets to play once again. But Spyrex, he finds the one guy off on the side, and the big thing we got to pay attention to is Spyrex going for this flank, doesn't have an opportunity to hit Pretty, and Pretty and Wild Turtle are free hitting this entire fight. So many shutdowns going over towards the side of FlyQuest, but at the end of the day, they are going to be giving over one more dragon. It's going to be the Mountain Soul picked up here for Immortals. And now, we said, once they were able to find this, they were going to be immortal themselves. There's no way the dive from Yuji and Spyrex can kill them through all the extra resistances. As we look for opportunities for the rest of the game, as we do see Immortals looking for opportunities to create more space, to look for these setups on these Baron buffs, it is so difficult for FlyQuest to try and walk in now. The Mountain Soul is worth so much. They have a very tanky front line that we've already been talking about for a long time. And FlyQuest, they're trying to find ways to separate, but Immortals aren't doing that as we just go directly into the fight. We see them, they find the back line, but the counter will come through, and they are just blowing up. Tomo finding a double kill instantly. There's no damage left. There's no Wild Turtle, and now FlyQuest looking to try and clean up everybody else. If they find these kills, this is the game. Chad is not fast enough, and even though Pretty's in a choke point, he doesn't have the damage up against the rest of them, but he keeps them at bay. He keeps them alive, and he keeps Immortals' chances at this game in flux. If he can get back, he can try and defend the rest of the base, and FlyQuest not even interested. They're going to have to go right on back to this Baron buff. They're the ones who finally find it. Well, I thought that this Mountain Soul was going to be enough, but FlyQuest so strong, and Chad, he's looking for something. He has to try and find this steal. He cannot afford to give even more opportunities over to FlyQuest, but FlyQuest marked him. They know he's there. The blast cone is gone. There's no way for Chad to get into the pit, and it is once again Tomo and the rest of FlyQuest who are taking control of this game. FlyQuest backline have looked so good. As we take a moment to reset, while we still wait for our caster Cabana friend to rejoin us, Immortals, I thought this Mountain Soul was enough. It's not. They are not able to set up the back line that they want to. Turtle and Pretty and Joey are not able to find the pockets that Spyrex and Tomo were earlier on. And huge props, once again, towards Spyrex for marking down individuals. Tomo quietly grinding everybody else down, but he's now got almost an entire inventory full of items. He can shred through concepts. He can shred through Chad because they're tanky, but they aren't as tanky as they would like to be. They don't have the kills. And as we look for an opportunity for them to go for this siege, Immortals are pushed up against the wall.
Now, sorry about that. Dipped out for a quick second right there, but what a game this is turning into. FlyQuest Academy now with this Baron, they can look to push in these waves, and they're actually pulling it off. I mean, this is such a crazy game. Oh, here we go.
Here comes the engage.
Engaged. All the Forge God in here onto the front line. Follow up with the Encore, and the CC just keeps coming. FlyQuest Academy with a massive team fight. Back to back, we'll find a triple kill at the Tomo. Even Chad can't escape from this wrath of Spyrex. 9-1-10 for the rookie mid laner. 12-1-5 for the sophomore AD carry, and FlyQuest Academy with an incredible end of this game. We'll take game 2.
Absolutely great stuff coming out from FlyQuest. They were able to manufacture fights. They found the setups. They found everything that they were looking for throughout this game, Kangas, and it is giving them this huge opportunity to come right on back. It's just me, apparently, as we are in a spot where Kangas' internet is struggling. So everybody in Twitch chat, send him your energy. Hopefully we can get him back in. Otherwise, we got to get Kafa and just regular Rafa coming in at the same time, and ultimately, we'll see if he's going to be up to the task. But FlyQuest, they really turned things around, and it feels like so much of this has to do with the fact that Spyrax is feeling so much more confident on this Ahri than he was on the Victor, right? He's not feeling the same kind of pressure coming out from the Azir. Pretty wasn't putting him on the back foot, and he was able to mark people off on the sides. Make sure that Pretty is not coming into the fight. Make sure that Joey didn't have an opportunity to find these big ultimates. And when you have that kind of freedom on an incredibly mobile champion to dart around the fight and find isolated members, you're going to look really, really strong. So as FlyQuest continues to play towards a lot of their rookie players, Spyrax is definitely making a name for himself, picking up where Yuji left off in the first game and saying, it is all me, looking for opportunities to try and win them. As we continue to look at the rest of the series, and we are tied up 1-1 at this point, we do have to pay attention to where the rest of these games are going to be going. It is FlyQuest 3-1 in the regular season. They won the last time these two orgs went head-to-head 2-1 in Arena of Legends, and now they're looking to continue that same kind of dominance. But we will get to see more of that relatively soon, as we will be having Kafa with another post-game show right after this break.